guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kiana and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some scrunchies. Like, I know that I kind of missed the big scrunchie trend by 3 years, but you know, people are still wearing scrunchies, and I have not seen a good tutorial about how to do a sheer scrunchie with organza. I'm just flailing these everywhere. I really like sheer things right now. I really like oversized things. So I thought, well, why not make a sheer oversized scrunchie? It took me a lot of trial and error. I made 4 scrunchies. The first one was very sad. I have it. Let me show you how sad this one is. This is it. This looks like a straight up pancake of scrunchie. Because it's sheer, you have to get the measurements just right. This, as you can see, doesn't even look very scrunched. It looks like a flat circle. You can clearly see the elastic inside. I tried a few different methods of constructing it because since it is sheer, you can see all the seams on the inside. So the inside is just as important as the outside. You have to do French seams, which I will show you how to do soon. You just have to make sure that everything is finished perfectly. I played around with the measurements of the original rectangle that you need to cut out to make the scrunchie. So this measurement I'm giving you is good. You can't use the normal measurement for regular scrunchies because sheer fabric is a lot thinner and you need to use more of it to make it scrunch up nice and good. What else? Oh yes, I forgot. I already said that I made it with and without pearls. The pearls, not gonna lie, take a long time to put on. If you wanna another hour added to your scrunchie, feel free to add a bunch of pearls to your scrunchie. It really looks cute though, I'm not gonna lie. It looks so cute. Look at those pearls. This is what it looks like. Oversized, sheer, real cute. Oversized, sheer, pearls, real cute. Oh, also, I'm just gonna keep these on now. Also, I'm going to be selling these on Etsy. I am giving you a tutorial though, so you can make them yourself. But if you feel like this is a little bit too challenging because it is pretty difficult to work with organza and sheer slippery fabrics if you never have before, and also the French seams and closing the scrunchie could be a little bit difficult if you're a beginner, well, you know what, keep trying because I have the video for you. But if you really want one and you can't make it, I am selling them on my Etsy. My Etsy is Kiana Bonello Designs. I will link it down below, and you can purchase one of these boys from me, handmade by me for you. So please support me because I will make it with so much love. Anyway, so if you would like to learn how to make these boys, keep on watching.
Okay, step 1, real easy, just cut out a rectangle. The rectangle that we are cutting out is going to be 7.5 inches long by 36 inches wide. I'm just cutting it, as you can see here, folded because 36 inches is a long width to cut in one straight line. So I folded it so I could be more accurate. Also be super careful when you're cutting it because organza and other sheer materials are super slippery. Like, you could just move the fabric on accident with the wrong pressure. So just be very careful. I would recommend using a rotary cutter, but if you don't have a rotary cutter, just be very careful with your scissors. Next, you want to cut a piece of elastic. The width of your elastic should be about 1/4 inch wide, and the length should actually be 6 inches, not 7 inches like I'm showing you. 6 inches, that's a better measurement than 7 inches. Then I'm just pressing my organza with an iron so there are no wrinkles in it. Make sure you press it good because you can't iron it afterwards. Like I said, it's important to have the inside of the scrunchie look just as good as the outside, so I'm thinking ahead here and I'm going to finish off the edges of this piece of organza. So on the skinny ends, you're going to take it and fold it about 1/4 inch down and then press it with an iron, and then after that you're going to fold it again another 1/4 inch down so that you have a nice finished edge. And then once you do this on this side, you're going to do the same thing on the opposite skinny side. You're going to fold it twice and press it down. And if you're working with a pattern piece of fabric, do this on the wrong side of the fabric. Next, I'm just taking it over to my machine and stitching that down. This is a really important step because organza frays like crazy and it could ruin the scrunchie over time, and it won't look good in the scrunchie either if you don't finish it. So this is what the finished edge looks like. Now I'm gonna fold the rectangle in half, wrong sides together, so the right side is facing the table, the wrong side is facing the ceiling, and I'm going to fold it so that wrong sides are together, and I'm gonna pin along the long edge here and then stitch it down with a sewing machine. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. 1/2 inch seam allowance, really important. Just take this really slowly since organza is super slippery and hard to work with. Then after that, you're going to take your scissors and trim down the excess seam allowance so there's only about 1/8 of an inch left. And we're doing this because we're going to actually make a French seam. We're using a French seam since our fabric is sheer and you'll be able to see the seam allowance on the inside, and a French seam looks really nice and finished. So after you trim it down, take your tube now and flip that inside out. Once you flipped your tube, you are going to stay along that long seam that we made, and you can pin it down to help you, but we're gonna sew again on this seam. So the seam allowance should be on the inside now, and we're gonna stitch along the seam again one more time, this time using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And basically that's all you have to do to make a French seam. Okay, now take your tube again and flip it inside out one more time to reveal your nice finished seam. And you can see that the seam allowance looks really nice on the inside. But you'll notice that there are some pieces probably sticking out from the seam. That's coming from the inside and poking out. Those aren't going to do anything, so right now is when you want to go ahead and just clip those off. Now we're going to thread the elastic through the scrunchie, so I'm going to safety pin one end of the elastic to the scrunchie just so it stays in place, and I'm going to safety pin the other end of the elastic, just safety pin the other end of the elastic, and then take that and use it to thread it through to the other side. It's just a lot easier if you attach a safety pin to it so you have something to hold on to. And this goes super fast, it takes like 30 seconds to thread it all the way through. Now you have the elastic coming out both ends of the scrunchie. Take off the safety pins and overlap the elastics on each other like this, and I've made a diagram to show you exactly what I'm talking about because I couldn't really show you the sewing. So the elastic should be overlapped, and then you're going to stitch where that red line is. You don't have to make the X, but you can if you want it to be super strong. Last step, we have to close the end of the scrunchie. This is a little bit tricky. I'm just lining up the seams like this. It should be right sides together, and I'm pinning in place. I'm going to sew with about a 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, so our finished edge is enclosed on the inside, and you're not going to be able to sew all the way around since it is a circle, and you won't be able to connect the circle, but just sew as much as you possibly can. Sorry the footage of this is so bad, my large hand is in the way, but I had to get my hands this close to be able to sew it. But I explained it to you before. I'm just doing what I said I would do. So once you sew as far as you possibly can, this is what your seam is going to look like. But you are going to have a little bitty hole like this. I'm just going to fold that in. It's going to naturally fold in. And then just sew really, really close to the edge. Alternatively, you could hand stitch this if you're real fancy, but this is really easy. So if you want to add pearls, I'm just taking my threaded needle, picking up a little bit of fabric on one side of the scrunchie only, adding a pearl, pulling it tight, and then going back in exactly where I picked up fabric before and threading it through. You can do that a couple times to make it stronger. And then for your last stitch, pick up exactly where you were before, wrap the thread around your needle, and tie it off. Pull it through and tie it off. Also, I'm using invisible thread because it's better for sheer fabric and you won't see it. But you could also use white thread, it just won't be as invisible. And as you know, this is the finished product. Cute.
Ta-da! You made some scrunchies! Yeah! I don't know, which one do you like more? Pearls or no pearls? I'm curious. I can't decide which one I like better. I don't know, I like more minimal things, so I'm feeling like I'm leaning towards plain, but the pearls are just so fun. I think they just look so expensive. Anyways, if you like this video, please subscribe, like it. If you liked it, please like it. Comment, let me know which one you liked better. Check them out on my Etsy, and yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Bye!